performance can be pursued. Survival must be designed. All right, let's just dive right into this. This isn't just some catchy motivational quote you'd see on a poster. It is a completely radical reimagining of how we operate in the world. I mean, think about it. Most of us treat life like this massive race we have to win, right? We're always chasing the next promotion, that next big financial return, literally constantly optimizing for performance. But what if we've got the math completely backward? What if life isn't a race at all, but a really delicate system that actually needs to be engineered against catastrophic failure? Today, we're unpacking the unconventional philosophy of Lynn Canyon. He's a guy who completely rejected that exhausting societal treadmill to build a personal life system engineered entirely for one thing: survival. And the crazy thing? This system wasn't born from some abstract academic theory. No way. It was reverse engineered out of absolute raw necessity. If we look at his journey, back in 1991, at age 24, Lynn had this major light bulb moment at a credit gate in Malacca. He realized that time and debt fundamentally alter our personal autonomy. Fast forward 10 years to 2001, and his own personal system just violently crashed. He was rushing his work, totally neglecting his health, and it actually led to a severe mental breakdown and a schizophrenia diagnosis. Then, in 2021, he gets hit with a glaucoma diagnosis, literally waking up with completely blurry vision. Just massive external shocks. Yet, despite all of that, by 2024, at the age of 57, he retired with complete life autonomy. He didn't just bounce back, he engineered a framework to ensure these random life shocks simply couldn't destroy him. So, in this explainer, we're going to do a complete teardown of its 40-year personal engineering blueprint. It's known as the CYSM, or the Canyon Systems Model. This entire thing is designed to help absolutely anyone achieve true life autonomy. And spoiler alert, it's not by getting rich quick. It's by thinking like an engineer who's maintaining a highly complex machine. Okay, here's the blueprint for today. First, we'll look at the Canyon Systems Model itself. Second, designing survival over performance. Third, we'll break down the 4 deterministic life modules. Fourth, we'll get into signal, time, and stability. And finally, achieving true life autonomy. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The Canyon Systems Model. So, what is the CYSM? Well, it's a practical personal life system model. But what makes it so incredibly unique is where it came from. See, Lynn Canyon isn't a philosopher. He's not an academic or some slick financial guru. He is an ITE engineering technician. He spent 40 years maintaining electrical systems, building facilities, and working on automation systems over in Singapore. Because of that, his entire worldview is based on measurable feedback loops, redundancy, and system maintenance. Think about it. If a building's electrical grid goes down, that's a massive system failure. Lynn simply took that exact same hardcore engineering logic and applied it to his own life. His health, his money, his time, he engineered all of it. If you look at this architecture blueprint, you can see how it actively replaces the random, chaotic anxiety of daily life with a really structured, verifiable framework. Notice how it integrates literally everything. We're talking education, personal well-being, even global dynamics, all feeding into this continuous loop of system stability. It is entirely about extracting certainty from a highly unpredictable world. It's like building an anchor in the middle of a storm. Section 2. Designing survival over performance. From the time we're kids, we are conditioned to maximize performance, right? Notice the traditional degree approach here. It's all about optimizing GPAs, desperately seeking approval from professors, and everything is super compartmentalized. Now, look at the CYSM Life Engineering degree. It operates on a completely different planet. It focuses on real-world feedback. Instead of a GPA, your outcome metric is system stability. Instead of a sterile laboratory, your practice arena is life itself. The stark contrast here is pretty mind-blowing. Traditional metrics push you to maximize gains, even if it completely burns you out. Lynn's goal? Simply prevent failures from accumulating. That's it. And what really proves how timeless this logic is a super fascinating insight from AI. When Lynn actually ran his entire 40-year white paper through DeepSeek, it pointed something out. Lynn didn't actually invent new concepts. Instead, he took the ancient wisdom of Galileo, who, focused on discovery and self-observation, and Mencius, who focused on discernment and critical thinking, and he literally welded them into executable engineering code. He took abstract philosophy and turned it into hardware. Galileo's epistemology became signal recognition. Mencius's moral resilience became time amplification. It is this incredible synthesis of East meets West, perfectly mapped onto a metaphorical motherboard. Absolutely brilliant. Moving on to Section 3. 4 deterministic life modules.
Any good engineer will tell you that a complex system is made of reliable subcomponents. Lin built his entire life on these four deterministic modules. First up, a 5.61% income engine. That's a portfolio of core Asian assets that basically self-circulates without ever depleting the principal. Second is continuous skill evolution. I mean, this guy went from an IT electrical diploma in the 80s to getting a specialist diploma in generative AI in 2025. Amazing. Third is the SGD 667 engine, which we'll talk about in a second. And fourth, a 15% cache buffer to turn terrifying market volatility into just visible, tolerable data. When you get these four modules working together, the pressure to survive literally drops to zero. Okay, so I want to zoom in on this crucial point right here. SGD 667. This is Lin's low-energy baseline. By deliberately locking his monthly survival costs at just 667 Singapore dollars, he achieved something truly profound. He completely decoupled his happiness from his net worth. Most people out there are trying to buy their freedom by making millions of dollars, right? But Lin bought his freedom by drastically lowering the metabolic rate of his life system. Think of it this way. If your system requires very little energy to run, it is incredibly hard to break.
Let's compare this to your standard run-of-the-mill financial advice. Traditional finance teaches us we have to maximize wealth. Capital is seen as a scorecard, right? It's an accumulation of your worth. But the result of that is often severe vulnerability. You take on way higher risks, and you get way more stressed. In the CYSM, the goal isn't maximizing wealth at all. It's maintaining stability. Capital is just a system resource. It's basically fuel that you deliberately allocate to maintain the system's buoyancy when the storms hit. It's entirely about resilience, not riches. Section 4. Signal, time, and stability. If there is a master equation for this entire white paper, it is definitely this. Life outcome equals signal multiplied by time multiplied by stability. This is exactly how you extract certainty from a random world. It's not about getting lucky. It's literally an algorithm. Let's walk through how this actually compiles. Step 1 is recognizing high-quality external signals. That means totally ignoring the random, deafening noise of society telling you what to buy or who you need to be. Step 2 is giving the system sufficient time to process. Haste is the absolute enemy here. Remember Lin's 2001 system crash we talked about? He noted in his logs that his severe mental breakdown was directly caused by rushing, trying to process way too much, way too fast without any kind of buffer. And then step 3 is allowing true stability to naturally emerge as a byproduct of those first two steps. So mapping this all out. Down at the micro layer, signal multiplied by time creates determinism. Once your behavior actually becomes predictable and reliable at the meso layer, well, that generates stability. And finally, at the macro layer, which is the outcome, a stable system allows results to just naturally emerge. You don't force success, you just ensure the system remains viable across time, you avoid catastrophic failure, and your positive outcomes simply emerge as a byproduct of not breaking down. It's a total game changer. Section 5. Achieving true life autonomy. I really want to pause here and ask you a somewhat provocative question. It's one that Lin kind of forces us to confront. Do you use money for lifestyle or do you use it for freedom? Back in 2025, after he retired, a little sparrow actually flew into Lin's kitchen. And watching its effortless, incredibly light movements, he realized his life's work wasn't about getting rich. It was about achieving what he calls exemption power, the power to literally exempt himself from a mandatory, exhausting social system. Just look at the visual contrast here. Over on the left, you've got an unstable system driven by immediate gratification. Living for the moment, spending way beyond your means. Sure, you pull enjoyment forward, but you are leaving a massive debt of stress and instability for your future self. It's an exhausting treadmill. But on the right, we see the CYSM approach, a highly stable system. Enjoyment emerges naturally here because you've actually designed a structure that affords you the absolute freedom to choose. Lin locked in his security first, and because the probability of his system failing is so incredibly low, his time naturally and effortlessly translates into freedom. I'm going to leave you with this really profound realization from Lin Canyon. He said, life is not a 100-meter sprint, but a cultivation that follows the seasons. In a world that is just so obsessed with overnight success and maximizing every single second, Lin's 40-year engineering log proves something incredibly beautiful. If you just stop trying to predict the direction of the storm and instead focus entirely on designing the buoyancy of your own ship, you will just survive. You will achieve absolute autonomy. So take a hard look at your own daily operating system. Are you running a sprint you can't possibly win? Or are you cultivating a system built to last? Something to really think about. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.